Hello, and welcome to Will's Infinite Library. I'm Will, and this is my Infinite Library. The only thing more consistent than my intros is how often I start videos by saying something like, I'm going to do things a little differently this time. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that that is kind of on brand for me because I like to do things differently, try new things. I get bored of doing the same thing over and over. So while my kind of monthly wrap-up videos seem like they've been working pretty well, I want to, in addition to that, try something new. I don't want to mess up what's working, but I want to mix things up a little. So with that idea of making shorter videos and trying new things, I decided to do a most anticipated books of 2023 video because there are a lot of books that I'm excited for this year and I just want to try something a little different. So without further ado, first up is Future Fish by Conor Sneyd. This is an Irish writer, a debut novel, and I don't know why, I think it was on Eric Carl Anderson's channel, where he showed this book in a book hauls video, and I just saw it, heard a very brief description of it, and was like, yes, that's the next book I have to read. I'm really excited for it. I don't know particularly why, it just called to me. Occasionally I have this with books. My Volcano was another one that did this for me in recent years, and I was just like, that's going to be my next favorite book. I've got to read it. And spoiler alert, I impulse bought a copy of this book. It came from the UK, so it took a little while to get here. It's from a small press in England, I believe, and I just devoured it, and I loved it so much. I don't know how I knew I was going to love it so much. A debut author I'd never read, hadn't heard anything about it, didn't read a sample. I was just like, I need to read this, and it was everything, and I will tell you more about it in my wrap-up video. And so along those lines, there are a couple other ones that are already out that have just come out that I didn't make my video in time to really be anticipated releases, but they're releases for 2023. The next of those is I Keep My Exoskeletons to Myself by Marisa. This one sounds really weird and speculative and has a great high concept premise where I believe it follows a woman and her daughter. I may not be getting this right, but anyway, they're dealing with grief of the daughter's other mother, I believe. And anyways, it takes place in this world where it sounds kind of like Minority Report in a way, but either anticipated criminals or criminals are given an extra shadow each time they commit a crime. So your crimes and your kind of criminal record literally physically follows you and people can see it. And it just sounds like a really interesting kind of speculative twist on what might otherwise be a straightforward kind of character-driven story, maybe thriller, maybe, I'm not sure what to expect, but it sounds really interesting. And I've heard too that it plays a lot with form and has pop quizzes inside the book and even a word search. So I think that sounds really interesting and creative, and I don't know how that will come into play, but it sounds interesting just to make you think of the story in a different way and to be engaged in a different way. So curious to check that one out. The other one that's already available now is Endpapers by Jennifer Savran Kelly. This book looks really cool. All of these books pretty much feature queer protagonists, and most of them I found because I didn't really know what was coming out this year, and I googled queer books coming out in 2023. So another queer book, as almost all of them on the list are, follows a character who's dealing with gender identity. She's an artist and a bookbinder, so queer books and art, I don't know much more about the plot, but I'm sold already. Really excited to check this one out. I know the author's writing is beautiful already, so I'm really excited for this one. And also in Endpapers, it looks like there's a bit of a mystery too, with a book that the main character is working on in her day job as a bookbinder. She finds kind of a mystery and goes to investigate it, so I think that sounds intriguing as well. It seems like it has a lot of elements that I will love. Next one, now we're getting to the actual anticipated releases, though this one might already be out by the time this video is out. This is Arthur and Teddy Are Coming Out by Ryan Love, which comes out April 13th. This is a contemporary novel about a young man, I want to say like around 20, maybe younger, maybe around there. Anyways, him and his grandfather both come out at the same time, and it sounds just really wholesome and heartwarming, and like I'm sure there will be trials and tribulations as they tear their family apart with these revelations, but they're in it together, and it just sounds really cute and charming. Really excited to check that one out. And then after that, April 21st comes out TJ Klune's next book, In the Lives of Puppets, which puppets don't, I'm not really excited about reading about puppets, to be honest. I don't know how that's going to work, but I've read TJ Klune's other recent books and really loved them, loved the vibes, the like kind of, I guess, cozy, magical kind of settings and feelings, and how he used those to create like a fleshed out kind of fantasy world within the real world that felt really realistic, but also charming, and dealt with real issues and found family and the kind of like queer themes like that. So I wasn't actually really intrigued by the description, to be honest, but I love his work, and I'm pretty sure I'll love it no matter what route these puppets go down. And he's also coming to Winnipeg in May, I believe, so I probably will pick up a copy at the book release / signing when he's there, here in May. So I probably won't get to it until then, but excited for that one. Next is another repeat author that I've read recently, which is The Celebrants by Stephen Rowley, who is the author of Lily and the Octopus and The Guncle. And I enjoyed Lily and the Octopus. Have not really read The Guncle yet. I started it, but didn't quite get into it. But I like Stephen Rowley's writing, so I'm curious to check this one out. I think it's going to be a big release of this year, and I'm excited for it. And that comes out May 16th. Also in May, Brandon Taylor's next novel, The Late Americans, comes out. Brandon Taylor is the author of Real Life, which I'm going to talk about, actually just read in my monthly wrap-up at the end of April. I really loved Real Life, and this sounds like kind of in the same vein. It's about young professionals, young 20-somethings, I think, and just kind of like this interconnected group of people living their lives and their relationships and how they intertwine and that kind of thing. I found Real Life really insightful and beautifully written. I loved the characters. I found the protagonist really easy to connect with, so I'm hoping for more of the same here. Now we're into October, 3 books coming out in October, so we're going to have a bit of a pause before the next one comes out, is The Quiet Room by Terry Miles. This is the sequel to Rabbits, which I've talked about a couple times, and it's a mysterious kind of thriller, a bit sci-fi, and very intriguing and that kind of thing. Rabbits is, and The Quiet Room I assume will be more of the same. I don't know much about it. Rabbits is also very mysterious, so I kind of don't want to know much more about it, because going into Rabbits blind was really an exciting experience, so excited to see where this goes. Also in October is Dark Moon, Shallow Sea by David R. Slayton. This is an epic fantasy novel, his first of that specific genre. I've also talked about his urban fantasy series, the Adam Binder series. White Trash Warlock, Trailer Park Trickster, and Deadbeat Druid are his urban fantasy trilogy, which I loved. And I haven't read a lot of epic fantasy lately, haven't been in the mood, but I feel like fall is going to be a great time for that. And even into the winter, if I don't pick it up right away, though I'm sure I will, it will be a great read, I think, for that time of year specifically. And I don't have a lot of other books from that genre on my list, so I think I will be hungry for it when it comes out, and I'm really excited for that, because I just love his writing style. I don't care really what genre he writes in, I will read it. His work today has been really character driven, and that's something that I think works in really any genre. I will be happy to read it. And then the last book on my list, which I just found out about, and actually I'm re-recording this video to include because I didn't know about it before, and I also recorded in very low quality, so do-over. This is a do-over. The last one is Family Meal by Bryan Washington, which comes out October 10th. Bryan Washington is the author of the novel Memorial, which I haven't talked about on this channel because I think I read just before I started it, but maybe that this will warrant a reread at some point. But I really enjoyed that novel. It's a contemporary novel about a gay relationship and just kind of the day-to-day life and the rifts that grow between people, but also had some like nice cute moments as well. And it was more in the literary vein, more in the lines of real life than like a contemporary, like more lighthearted novel. Like it is a bit heavier. So I'm kind of expecting more of that than like Stephen Rowley's work is more, I feel like, lighthearted, even when it deals with tougher issues. But I'm expecting this one to be more like kind of heavier and weightier. Um, so yeah. So those are, I think that's a top 10. I think there were actually 10. I didn't do that on purpose, but those are my top 10 most anticipated books that have already come out in 2023 or are yet to come out. I'd love to hear if any of these books are on your radar or what books you're most excited for that are either coming out this year or that are on your TBR list for this year. Let me know in the comments below. And with that, I'll let you get back to your reading. See you next time.